What's up, guys? Welcome to Your Adventure Compass. Today, we're continuing our Washington, D.C. trip, and we are at Arlington Cemetery right now. We're gonna walk around, see some of the different memorials here. We're gonna check out the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and many other things. We've got a lot in store today, and I promise you're gonna wanna stick around because today's video is gonna end with a ghost tour. So let's get started on this adventure.
There are military cemeteries all around our country. If you wish to be buried here, you must have served for 20 years and been discharged honorably. You are retired and drawing a pension, or you have sadly been killed or otherwise died while you are serving, or you have been awarded one of 5 medals, the Purple Heart, the Silver Star, 3 other high-level medals awarded for service in our military. Those are the main qualifications. There are a few others. The main others is that you may be buried here if you are the spouse or the dependent child of someone who qualifies to be buried here. Now, the cemetery has 625 acres. However, it's running out of room.
Oh, probably not.
She was telling us that they have up to 30 funeral services per day here. As mentioned, anyone with the proper qualifications can be buried here if they choose. You guys probably recognize that name. And as you can hear, there's a salute going on in the background. Acres and acres. I forgot how much she said it, and I don't know if I caught it on video, but it was several hundred acres, and they're running out of space.
It is difficult for me to convey to you what it was like in our country when I was about your age and President Kennedy was shot in Dallas, Texas, riding in an open car around downtown Dallas in a motorcade, waving to people. His wife, the First Lady Jackie Kennedy, at his side. Anybody who is old enough to remember it remembers exactly where they were. I was working in our school guidance counselor's office. That was what I did for that period on that particular day. The school just shut down, offices, businesses, schools, everything around our country pretty much shut down. It was a Friday just after lunchtime. Everyone went home and pretty much spent the weekend watching. She heard that he had said up there, "It is so peaceful here. I feel like I could stay here forever." Hearing that, she said, "I want the spot that's closest up the hill to the mansion." His grave was created, and then tens of thousands of people came to visit it in the weeks following his burial. They decided we have to have a more formal, a larger place where more people will be able to visit. So what we will see was that larger, more formal space that was created. When we go up to the grave, we're asked to be as silent as possible. You are going to see there are 4 plaques on the ground.
Heading up to see John F. Kennedy's grave, and the grass here in front of the mansion is immaculate. It is absolutely perfect. It almost looks fake. Nowhere else in the cemetery looks like this, but this area is incredibly well maintained. And this is the grave of Robert Kennedy, his wife Jacqueline, and their 2 children, which both died very early. As you can see, there's the eternal flame there.
This has been a military cemetery since 1864. As the Civil War wore on, there were so many soldiers, Union and Confederate, who were being cared for in hospitals, tents, church pews, makeshift hospitals, all over Washington, D.C. So many were dying that the cemeteries in Washington, D.C. ran out of room. Well, this had been very quickly the mansion occupied by General Robert E. Lee and his wife up until the time of the Civil War. They say he had to decide, living up in that house, which way was he going to go? Lincoln offers him, he's a U.S. Army officer, he is offered a leading role with the Army of the North, the Union Army. He makes his decision and says, my highest loyalties must lie with my Virginia brethren. He leaves, leaving his wife, children, about 100 enslaved people here on what had been a huge plantation, twice as big as the cemetery, 1,100 and some acres. So once the Union Army has taken over, they have this prime real estate here, all of this room. They decide in 1864, this will become a military cemetery. So that is the early history.
Now guys, I know I said that the area around Kennedy's grave was the most well maintained, but I didn't want to mislead you. The entire cemetery is immaculate. It's probably the nicest looking cemetery I've ever seen. Just looking down, all the curbs, the grates, the asphalt, everything is immaculate. It looks brand new. These railings, they've got the chain link fence. Everything is just immaculate here. Signs. Right up there is the mansion that she was talking about. Well guys, it's not even 10 o'clock yet. It's 9:40. I'm already at two miles of walking. This is a hike through Arlington Cemetery here. All right, we are headed up to the tomb of the unknown soldier. We're going to hopefully witness the changing of the guard, and that involves a very ceremonious walk and changing 21 paces pausing for 21 seconds, and so on. So we're headed up right now, and we're gonna watch this. The reason I'm letting you know that, this is a very solemn area, and when we get up here, I won't be talking, I'll just be filming. And this is the back side, and we're gonna be heading up there in just a moment. So when we get up there, I won't be talking anymore. Looking the opposite way, there's a fountain down here as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sergeant Maxwell of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor, Code of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and stand. Thank you. Raise it. Oh. Out. Oh. Ready. Hey. Hands on your buckles. Forward and orders. Remain as directed. Orders. Act. Gravesite. Oh! Right. Shoulder. Oh! Oh! Right. Hey! On! Out! 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 Out!
All right, guys, well, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, what an amazing thing to see, the changing of the guard. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see this or not. This has a connection to Detroit. This is the grave of Joe Louis, the famous boxer. He entertained the military with his boxing skills, and his grave is here at Arlington Cemetery.
So here, as I was saying, it was 9:37 in the morning when a plane came out of the sky just over here. The hijackers took it into the second story of windows we see here is where the nose of the plane actually struck.
All right, guys, we've made our way over to the Pentagon, and we are here at the 9/11 Memorial at the Pentagon. They have some benches, and there's actually, I think they said 184 benches. Each one has a name on it, and depending on which way the bench is facing, if it's facing towards the building or facing away from the building, you can tell whether the person was inside the building or if they were on the plane that hit the Pentagon back on 9/11. Let's head in and take a look. So here's one of the benches, and each one of these benches has, like, they call it a reflecting pool underneath it, and it's just basically some water. And there's a name on the end of the bench here, and that name, that is who was in the building at the time, facing away from the building. So they were in the building at the time the plane struck. You can see there are a lot of these here. Tons, 184 to be exact. One of the things you may notice is that there are a lot of benches facing away from the building. That's because it's somewhat fortunate there was not a lot of people on the plane. I think she said 55 people on the plane. Here are two that are facing towards the Pentagon. And these, the names face the building. So you can see that these were people that were on that plane. So guys, if you were alive when 9/11 took place, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, what were you doing? Where were you at? What happened? What changed after you found out? I can tell you exactly where I was and what happened to me. I was at work. I was working a job where I went out and did service at different locations. And I was at a location about an hour from my home. And we had heard on the radio what was going on. And fortunately, I guess fortunately, I had just bought a, and this was a long time ago, but I bought one of those little pocket style TVs, and I had brought it with me that day. I didn't even normally carry this. I brought it with me that day. So as soon as I heard, I immediately turned it on and watched the insanity unfold on this tiny little 2x3 screen. And I just could not believe my eyes. Later, about after an hour or so, I got a call from my supervisor, and they said, go home and be with your family. We don't know what's going on, and we want everyone to be home with their families. So that's exactly what I did. But it was a very crazy time, very uncertain time. She was telling us that here in DC, when this happened, so many people were afraid to go anywhere, to drive. They were afraid the bridges might be in danger. So people, they closed the bridges and people had to walk home. People were getting home super late in the evening, all kinds of craziness. But yeah, leave a comment and let me know what was your experience that day, if that was something that you actually got to witness firsthand. So this is a rather unique memorial. I was trying to figure out, I believe the metal part is aluminum. I'm not positive. It'd be kind of cool if it was made out of the aircraft aluminum from the plane, but who knows. The top is marble of some sort, or granite. And it also has this curved piece, which has to be very unique. And that had to be precision machined to fit in here. It's on every single one of these. And like I said, there's 148 of these. And then the water feature underneath, it's got some sort of bubbler or something, probably to prevent algae and whatnot from growing. Maybe they condition the water, I'm not sure. But it's really kind of neat. You can see the reflection up on the side there. And the whole thing is kind of gated in here. Now the walk over here from the parking lot where we came from, we had to walk through the Pentagon parking lot, and there were notices and signs that said no photos, no video. I don't think they want anybody photographing or taking video of, the Pentagon or the employees or the cars or things like that, which makes perfect sense. So, obviously you have to respect that, and I did. And that's why you didn't see me travel from the bus to here. But she also mentioned that apparently at one point in time they confiscated a phone because a kid was taking photos of the Pentagon. So she made sure to let everybody know, and I'm glad she did. We didn't even walk all the way around, but it goes all the way back there. Honestly, they are all the same. Different names, of course. So if you know somebody here, I'm sure that one would have more meaning to you over the other, but I do not, and they all look the same, so we just kind of walked around a little bit. I'll show you a few of them, and we're heading out because I think it's almost lunchtime. So guys, another thing I missed here is that there are markers along the edge, and anything in that row represents the age of that person when they died. Starting with the very first one, I believe was only 3 years old when this happened. Yep, 1998. And this would be the one for the 3-year-old. All right, guys, our next stop is the Holocaust Memorial Museum. I'm gonna be heading in here for a little bit right now. Guys, if you're okay with this content, let me know, because I have a full-length video that I never put out from the Holocaust Museum in Farmington Hills. And it's a little, I don't know if it's more detailed, but they had a lot of stuff in there, and there's some graphic stuff as well, but a lot of information in there. And I can definitely put that video out if you guys are okay with it.
The Nazis were well organized. District leaders were
Well, the law was legal maximum until 1938. President Roosevelt ordered the Secretary of State to admit as many refugees as the current law allowed. But President Roosevelt never proposed that Congress change the law, and he made no effort to build popular support for U.S. assistance to the refugees. In the spring of 1938, Roosevelt called an international conference in Evian, France, to address the refugee problem.
The opening free of collection, quick action to help all who suffer persecution in Europe today.
That's where apparently the cemetery gates from a city called Tarno. And even Romania was included. Here we have a sign that talks about the train cars called the Railroads of Death. And the Germans told them to get on the train, and they were taking them somewhere. And that somewhere was a concentration camp where they would do hard labor, and eventually they would kill them. Now, I don't know if this is a real one here. The sign did not say that, so let's take a look at the next sign, which is in front of the train car. Okay, this one does say, let's see. They would pack 100 people into this car. So it doesn't say this was an official rail car from back then, but it does say that it's the same type. So possibly, maybe parts of it are. Maybe it's a reconstruction. Just imagine being in here with 100 other people. This is a replica. This is not the actual sign that was over one of the concentration camps. But the meaning is the same, and that is hard work will set you free. Right there. Work will make you free. Maybe that's the exact translation, but regardless, it's the same. So this sign says these are the original bunks used in Auschwitz, in the concentration camp. They don't want you to touch anything because these are original. And people would line up on here. They may have a photo on the other side. Let's see if we can take a look. There would be literally hundreds of people. Yeah, here we go. Well, guys, so kind of a cold, somber visit here to the Holocaust Memorial and Museum. All right, guys, we are headed over to the African American Museum of History. I don't ever recall being in here, but we're heading in here today. Located not too far from the Washington Monument is the museum here, the African American Museum. We're heading in. All right, we've started here in the basement. So the history galleries. This is the Journey Towards Freedom.
global demand for sugar, rice, tobacco, and coffee, they invested in slave labor to clear land, grow crops. Equiano endured the horrific experience of New World enslavement.
The people of the great vessel were weakened. When we had the machine, they took away all of the small pieces of cloth which were on our bodies and threw them into the water. Then they took chains and fed our two together.
Dunmore of Virginia proclaimed a promise of freedom to all enslaved Africans who crossed into British lines to serve as loyalist soldiers. Boston King, a black loyalist, recalled, "They received me readily, and I began to feel the happiness of liberty, of which I knew nothing before."
We're here. This is Elizabeth Freeman. And it talks about if she'd been offered 1 minute of freedom and if her life had to end at the end of it, she would have taken it. This is a cabin that was on Edisto Island in South Carolina. It's part of the Point of Pines plantation. Right there we have Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, we obviously saw the memorial yesterday. Lincoln helped free the slaves using his Emancipation Proclamation. Civil War timeline.
And resilience, African American men, women, and children changed the tide of the war.
There's a rail car here we're going to go into next. We did go into this old house. This was an old house. We did go in there. Not much to see. What you see outside is pretty much what you see inside too. This one was actually a little bit nicer down here. All right, all aboard. Just to show you the segregation. This is a women's restroom. Even back then, they always wanted to put a living room in the bathroom.
You can smoke in the lounge toward the center of the car. Thanks, pleasure. Thank you, kindly.
The big, wide, comfy seats. Whites only water cooler. Luggage bin. And this was even the men got their own chairs in the bathroom. Kind of funny.
No one. This is the only one we're allowed to use on the train.
And the separate water cooler.
Mama, where are we going?
Hush, child. We need to be quiet now.
And a much smaller bathroom here.
Downstairs.
No, baby. We can't. I got our doctors.
This area is dedicated to after 1968, when things made a big change and there was no longer the issues that we had previously. Segregation was ended, and we were getting closer to becoming equals. Check that out. This is one of my favorite shows, actually. What's Happening? Sanford and Son. Who can forget Sanford and Son? That was a great show, too. Good times. Got JJ down there. Over here, there's an Oprah dress and a big couch. I think I could be wrong, but she's giving something away. It's probably a car. Now, there was a moment that was very popular from this show where Tom Cruise jumped on that couch, and because he was so excited. And we went to a wax museum probably about 10 years ago, and they had this couch and a wax figure of Oprah. For the photo, I stood on the couch like I was jumping up and down. So there's a biplane here. I'm not quite sure what the significance of this plane is. All right, we went up to the top floor, and this area seems to be all about, well, I shouldn't say all about, because this area is completely different. But it was all about famous people in the last section. So different ministers and leaders. Here's people known for style. I get some Air Jordans down here. Run DMC. Lots of different stuff in here. And right over here, this is Chuck Berry's El Dorado. Check that out. Classic car alert. Some instruments used by famous African Americans. B.B. King, one of his hats right there. Charlie Pride. It's a dress from En Vogue. Picture of Aretha Franklin up there. Of course, Motown. Can't forget Detroit. Over here, Little Richard. And Bo Diddley. Check out that guitar. It's a giant rectangle. Where's one of Chuck Berry's guitars? It's Jimi Hendrix. Tina Turner. And right over here, Prince. We got an outfit from Prince. Over here, George Clinton. And what in the world is this? This is a mothership? What is this? Oh, the P-Funk. Okay. Can't say that I've ever seen this, but pretty wild. Over here, James Brown. An outfit from James Brown. Over here, Grand Wizard. Check that out. Those are some old scratch index Vestax. Wow. Check this out. We got a giant boombox over here. It's Public Enemy. There's one of their outfits. Check out this wild outfit and that amazing bass. There's a bass from Fred Wesley. He was the bass player, I guess, for the Gap Band and Kool and the Gang. Pretty cool, huh? An outfit over here from Earth, Wind, and Fire. And over here, Frankie Knuckles. And I do remember hearing quite a bit about Frankie. This is popular, I think, a little bit later even. Frankie Knuckles, a popular DJ, I believe. Techno and house. This is Ray Charles, Prince. So both? I don't know. Got a dress here. And also one of the, what is this? American Music Award from Whitney Houston. And this outfit looks like it belonged to Luther. Yep, Luther Vandross. Now this one I wanted to point out, I don't know if you've ever heard anything by Stanley Clarke. This is one of his basses. And he is one of the most amazing bass players that has ever walked this earth. Over here, check this out. Richard Pryor. One of the funniest comedians ever. And of course, can't forget Uhura.
I was just trying to start a conversation.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for our trip to the African American Museum. Now we have dinner. After dinner, we're doing a ghost tour, so make sure you watch this. So for dinner, we came down to this place called Alexandria, and we had dinner here at Bugsy's Pizza Restaurant. It was nothing special, but the inside of the place is kind of cool. I'll insert a couple of photos so you can see what it looked like. Very historical looking, very cool, very neat. And we're going to go explore downtown a little bit right now. Over here we got Pop's ice cream. It's a fish market restaurant here. Kind of a cool looking spot. By the way, this is where we're doing our ghost tour in a little bit. Got about an hour, so we figured we'd walk around. We got oysters down here. The Lucky Knot over here. By the way, it's raining. I have a self-made umbrella for the my camera, and I didn't bring it with me because I said, no, it's not going to rain that much. Over here, Mia's Italian Kitchen. Lots of cool places. There's a Ben & Jerry's down here as well. And I can't tell what the other one is. It's kind of neat because the entire street is closed off. It's like a little food district here, a little dining district. We have the creamery, frozen custard and ice cream. Over here is O'Connell's restaurant. And another pizza place here, Emmy Squared Pizza. There's a shoe store over here. Got a cigar shop, and here's Kilwin's up here. What do we got across the street? There's a souvenir shop right across the street. And that place says Bollywood something. I can't quite make it out. Oh, Bollywood Indian cuisine. Interesting. Lots of little cool places down here. All right, guys, what are the chances I find a Kilwin in Washington, D.C., right? but we did. I ended up getting the rum raisin and a waffle cone. This is my favorite ice cream. It's so good. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but Kilwin's just happens to be a Michigan-based store, and they've kind of blown up. They're everywhere now. They've got candies and fudge and ice cream and all kinds of good stuff inside. Planes are constantly flying overhead here. And we are heading back to meet our group because we have a ghost tour. You can just tell from the stylings on these buildings that this is a historic area. This location here, El Porto Restaurante. It's got a nice restaurant. Place here. Like I said, there's a lot of restaurants here, and they're all really, really nice. And we're back at Bugsy's, and I see your group hanging out in the street, so we're heading over there. And these two guys are giving us our ghost tour.
Yeah, I'm little, but let's just do it. I'm going to go up the river and then pop up Prince.
I'm a little bit worried about the rain, so I'll try to start the ice. But this group is out of the way.
Okay, all right. Here we go. All right, so you guys are on mine. So you guys following right this way. Andreas, look at me. Gabe, have a great story.
All right, here we go.
All right, gather about. Michigan, huddle on in nice and close. Don't be shy. I'm going to be your ghost guide tonight. My name's Jimmy. Everyone say good evening, Jimmy.
Good evening, Jimmy.
My favorite part, and you crushed it. A little bit about me in college. I studied history, theater, and folklore. I'm also a member of a group called the Cryptozoological and Paranormal Society of Alexandria, which is a fancy way to say I know a lot about ghosts. I got you tonight. We're gonna have a good time. Now, a lot of people, that's my ride, a lot of people ask me if the stories I tell tonight are real. I like to put it this way. All of the historical stories of death, mayhem, and dismemberment that I'm sharing with you tonight are 100% true. In terms of the ghosts, it is 100% true that people have reported seeing these things happening. Everybody cozy? Beautiful. Oh my gosh, take a moment. Look at this beautiful waterfront behind me. We even have a rainbow. What a beautiful scenic view. To talk about the most deadly boating accident to ever happen on the Potomac, one that gives us a straight up ghost ship. Let's do this.
Our ghost guide Jimmy took us along the Potomac waterfront, stopping at various locations telling us amazing tales of historical characters from the past that had come back to haunt. We worked our way down historical streets in old Alexandria, stopping at various locations to hear a new tale at each one. This area here reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean. The bars on the stone wall, kind of funny, except it's a parking lot, I believe. And while I can't give you all the details of every tale Jimmy told on this tour, I promise to leave you with one good one at the end. If you're interested in checking out one of these ghost tours, and I highly recommend you do, look up Alexandria Colonial Tours and ask for Jimmy. He did a phenomenal job, and if you like ghost stories, this is a ghost story taken to the next level.
Oh, plus another one. Why are they buried here?
We're in an actual cemetery behind this church. It's kind of amazing, actually.
I want to welcome all of you to the graveyard of the Presbyterian House. I'm going to take 3 guesses. Take a moment, glance around, raise your hand. We have a hunch. How many bodies do you think are buried here? How many bodies? What do you think?
50.
I hear 50.
15.
15?
Right. 20.
20. The correct answer is?
All of them.
Technically correct. The correct answer is around 350.
I was closest! I don't want
You
to
were
be
the
here
closest. You can take one home. We have around 350 tightly packed in, many stacked one atop another. In fact, all of us are atop multiple rows of bodies right now.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Now, we don't know who many of them are,
Hey guys.
but there's a few notable ones I want to point out. First, I want to point out, look behind you. You'll see that too, next to the flag. That is the tomb of the unknown soldier of the Revolutionary War. Now, I know you're excited. I saw another one at Arlington, but this one's got a ghost. Now, just behind it, you'll see a white building. That's the Basilica of St. Mary's. Goes up in 1795. Oldest Catholic church in the Commonwealth of Virginia, in case you happen to be into that kind of thing. Now, in 1830, they're expanding the property. They're digging a new longer foundation. They're doing it slowly and carefully, so I don't know if any kind of shifting has happened of the bodies. They want to be respectful of any corpses in their space. We're glad they were digging carefully. So when they're digging, they find an old munitions box. Inside this munitions box are skeletal remains in the tatters of a Revolutionary War uniform. He is slowly and carefully moved to that space there, and they start with just a simple stone. And for a long time, there's just a small stone right there. That starts to change in the 1860s. There's a 9-year-old girl named Mary Powell. Now, Mary Powell attends weekly services right here at the meeting house, and every week after church, comes out and visits his grave. Now, as she gets older, she advocates for him to get official recognition. She wants the flag to gate the flag. Finally, in 1929, the American Legion and the Daughters of the American Revolution dedicate that as the tomb of the unknown soldier of the Revolutionary War. Mary Powell, now 89 years old, speaks at the dedication ceremony and dies 2 months later. Her life's purpose fulfilled. However, Mary Powell's death has not stopped her from still making frequent visits to her favorite soldier. You'll see that darkened glass above the tomb. People often see both with their eyes and captured on film the image of a face in that glass, the face of an old woman. Mary Powell maintaining her vigil over her favorite soldier even in death. Newest ghost story, 2 months ago. I'm giving a school group to a group from Kentucky. I'm right here. I'm telling the story, and as I'm telling the story, one of the chaperones, a woman by the name of Kelly, is over there snapping some photos. I have not even gotten the ghost yet. I'm still in the setup when suddenly she drops her phone, screams, begins to cry right in front of us, and repeats over and over again, "It's a face, it's a face, oh my God, it's a face." Her friend walks her out of the graveyard. She was nice enough to send that photo to me. Who wants to see it? All of you, right? It's a ghost tour. I'm going to pass it around. You guys stay in your seat. I'm going to make sure you see it. I'm going to make sure you see it. Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in nice and close, and you guys are going to tell me if you think you agree with what she saw. Some people do, some people aren't so sure. I'll let you make your own decision. Bright, clear, sunny day. I'm going to zoom it on in. You're going to look right above my finger. See if you agree with what she saw. Seeing some very unsettled faces.
I hate that.
Let's see.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, if it's an old woman,
no, right.
I see it.
Oh yeah, right.
Mary Powell. Seems like we all agree that she saw what she saw tonight as you're lying in your hotel bed. You may hear something scurry on the floor.
Oh right.
You might get a little scratch on the wall. You may think it's a friend playing a prank, but I beg you, please remember, equally fair chance something has just decided to follow you home from the graveyard. It's been known to happen. On that happy note, my name is Chief. Thank you for coming on.
Well, guys, what an incredibly fun tour. That was so cool. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought it was really fun. I know the kids that are here on this trip with us had a blast. They were loving this. And he was a great tour guide. He really entertained all of us. Well, guys, if you've been following our Washington, D.C. videos, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I hope if you're planning a trip, these help you out. I hope I can provide some information, let you see what is here at some of these museums, some of these locations that we're going to, and how awesome it is to see some of this American history. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to click on the compass so you can get subscribed and see more awesome content like this. And remember, adventure is just a short drive away.